we may begin. Maybe this is a no-go for you, but a pose called Virasana. And I'll show a way to set it up. I'll face the back here. Lately, I've been enjoying the 2 blocks. You could do 1 or 2 with the feet on the outside of the blocks and you're on the knees here. If you need padding for underneath, you can put a blanket under. Now, some of you might want a little pad for like behind the knees. I'll show you how that might look. So if you want to try that, you can have a blanket, the block, and then the blanket wedged behind your knees. And then another block, so it's like a block blanket sandwich. And some people find that feels really nice behind the knees. So that's an option. And if the pose in general is just not your pose, then sit any other way instead. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to my 2 blocks here. And then once you've figured out your setup, if this is convenient for you, come up for a second and pull the calf flesh back and kind of apart, and then come back down again. And then one more little flesh pull, you'll pull the knee flesh forward so the shins get a little extra room. Yeah, great. And now from your position, let's take the hands here right at the top of the pelvis, and we'll do a little tip forward and back, kind of a cat-cow sort of maneuver. And see if you can land in such a place where you've got a little bit of lumbar curve, but not excessive. You're not tucking the pelvis under. Press down through your hands and see if you can grow long through the side body. Let's actually lift the arms for a second and use that lift of the arms to just help the trunk get a little bit longer. Yeah. Stay up for a second. Let the inner part of the shoulder relax. Great. And then can we let the arms come down without losing any of the height we just created in the torso? You can have palms faced up or down on your lap. And if it feels all right to close your eyes, you can just gently close the eyes. Think about relaxing the forehead and the eyelids, the jaw, your face. And take a few easy breaths. Just letting the breath move into you and letting it release. Notice just your overall state of mind, quality of your thoughts. See if you can direct your attention to a more internal place. Your body, your breath. And then from here, friends, just let the head bow down and the eyes blink open. We'll take the head back to the center here. Take the arms out and up. And let's grab a hold of the right arm, pull up, and take a little side bend over. I meant the left arm. We go to the right and mix up rights and lefts sometimes. Yeah. And then up we come. Let's go the other way. So we pull up first and then over. Yeah. And then bring yourself up. Take the arms into this position, somewhat wide. Breathe in. And then as we exhale, let the elbows come in, the hands come apart, and create a little squeeze right around the side here. Yeah, let's do that a few times. So the inhale, we come up. Let that be somewhat passive. And then the exhale, we come down and create that little squeeze on the side. Let's take it one more time here. And then down we come, a little squeeze on the side. Stay in the position. Take the hands forward, kind of like you're serving a little platter, and pretend you're holding something stretchy in between your hands. And we're trying to stretch it apart, but we don't go that far, just a little bit. Now notice if the front ribs are popping forward. See if you can keep the front ribs quiet and down. Yeah. All right. And then let's release the arms. Just wiggle it out a little bit. Good. Okay. So let's come forward here. You can move the blocks out of the way and just stretch out a little behind the knees. We'll take one leg back, give yourself a little movement, little back and forth. And then the other side. Great. And then let's land, 2 knees down. If you need padding for the knees, of course you can have that. We'll start to move through cat-cow here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, round the back, let the shoulder blades pull apart. And then on the inhale, the shoulder blades will draw together and also slide them down the back towards your hips. Do that a few more times. So the exhale, you round, and then the inhale, the shoulder blades draw down the back. Great, couple more times here, just at your own pace. Nice work. And then from here, let the movement just start to morph into something else. And that could be anything here. Maybe a little wiggle side to side, maybe more of a circle. Yeah. Feel free to make it your own here. If you want to go back to child's pose, that could be good too. Great. Yeah. Awesome. And then let's take a little pause here. Do go to child's pose. If you need to widen the knees, you can, and we'll come into this Sphinx arm position. So the elbows are bent, the forearms are on the floor. On the inhale, try to drag the arms back, broaden the collarbones, lift the hips a little, and then lift the elbows a little. So the upper back is very engaged. And then on the exhale, we'll let that go. So do that a few more times. The inhale is this little pull, little lift. And then the exhale, we release down. Not so important how high you go. In fact, you probably won't go very high. It's more of a forward action with the chest and a pull back action with the arms. Great. And then the next time we find that pull forward with the chest, let's come back up to our all fours position. Reset your legs so the knees are directly underneath the hips. Let's take the right leg back, toes tucked under, and we did this already, but let's go again. Little push-pull, this little stretch here through the back of the leg. Yeah. And then let the movement settle here. Broaden the collarbones. Lift a little through the lower abdomen, and in slow motion, start to lift the right leg and lift from the inner thigh. Yeah, like the inner thigh could pull the leg up. And then from here, press the heel back, but at the same time, pull the right half of the pelvis tiny bit forward and see if that helps you lift through the abdomen a little more. Good. If you want to add on, you can take the left arm forward. If not, just leave that part out. Great. Now, in the right foot, instead of pointing back through the toes, can you press back through the ball of the foot like a Barbie doll foot? Yes, good. And then down comes the hand, down comes the knee. Just let the pelvis take a little wag side to side a couple of times. Good work. And then we'll swap out the legs. So take the left leg back before we lift. Broaden the collarbones, lift the abdomen. And then very slowly lift the leg by lifting the inner thigh. Yeah. Once you're up, can you pull the left hip a little bit forward? If you'd like to add in the right arm, go ahead and do that now. And then we'll change the foot position. So press back through the ball of the foot, like Barbie. Poor Barbie, her feet are stuck in that position. She wore high heels for too long. Let's come down with the hand, down with the knee. And then take another little side to side here. Yeah. Great. And then you guys will come down to the belly. I'm coming back to child's pose. Stay on the belly for a second. You can fold your hands with the forehead just on the hands like that. And then lift and lower one leg at a time and pull back as you do so you get a little more space in the front of the hips. Let's keep the forehead down on the hands. Actually, I'll do this in all fours. And then take both legs, reach back and up and lift up through the inner thighs. The legs are straight. And let's come into that Barbie foot again. So the ball of the foot is pressing back, inner thighs are lifted, and then down we come. Yeah, do that a few more times. So we'll lift the legs, inner thighs lift, balls of the feet press back, and down we come. Yeah, if you'd like, you can add in a lift of the head and the chest as the legs are coming up. Any arm position is fine. If you'd rather just stick with the legs for now. So again, it's the inner thigh that lifts, and we press back through the balls of the feet. Gorgeous work. And then let's finish up the round that you're on. And the next time you come back down, stay down, rest your head, bend the knees so the feet are up in the air, and give the feet a little side-to-side swish, kind of windshield wiper style. Yeah. Great. And then from here, let's lower the legs back down. We'll press back into a child's pose, but keep the toes tucked under and keep the hips a little bit up so we don't go quite all the way back. Yeah. And then as you're ready from here, we'll lift the knees off the floor. Let's keep them pretty bent for this first one. Try to press the mat forward with the hands so the hips shift back. And again with those inner thighs, can you roll them back and try to lift the inner thighs as the legs start to go straighter into our down dog. And let's add in a little pedal here. You can bend and straighten the knees, shifting the hips one side, other side, maybe letting your head turn. Let's take a little bit of movement here. In our Adho. Yeah, great. And then to come out of this, we'll separate the feet a little wider, bend your knees and walk the arms back. The heels will land on the floor. And let's use the inhale to come all the way up. Arms lift overhead. That's it. And then we'll set the arms down just alongside you. Yeah. Step the feet so they're just about right underneath you, hips at distance. Let's take a few little hula hoops here, just going around in a circle. Great, and then go the other direction. Nice. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of block work. It's not that fun, but it's funny looking. So grab a block, and let's head to the back of the mat. And we'll pop the block in between the upper thighs. I'll face you for a second, but you guys will stay forward. And then adjust your feet. So if you bend the knees a little, we want the knees to point forward. And for most of us, that means the toes also point forward. Yeah. Now, to stand up right here, give the block a light squeeze in towards the center. And think of lifting up off of the block. Yeah, so you get a little taller. And then let that go. And now squeeze the block and roll the block forward. This is called external rotation in the thighs. And you might feel the buttocks kind of like tighten and push forward. So that's not where we want to be, but just so we feel that. Back to neutral. And now give the block a little squeeze. And this is small. Can you roll it back slightly? Yeah? And that'll have the opposite effect. The buttocks will draw back a little. Also not exactly where we want to be. So let's stay back. Can you lift up through the abdomen and send the buttocks flesh down without squeezing it and without pushing forward? Yeah, let's work. And then we'll stay in the position. Can you take the arms out and up slowly without letting the pelvis press forward? So the block is rolling back, but we're countering that by lifting the low belly and sending the buttocks flesh down. Can you breathe while you're still here? Yeah. Let's take one more breath in. And then on the exhale, keep the block in there, but relax the legs. Come into forward fold or partial. And then let's take our half lift. Move the chest forward. Come down, bend the knees a little bit. Press into your feet. Inhale, up we come, arms overhead. Stay for a couple of breaths. Roll the block back. Abdomen lifts. Buttocks flesh draws down. One more breath in. We're going to add on. Exhale, down we come. You can relax the legs on the way down. Take your half lift, chest moves forward. And now here it gets interesting. Come down, hands to the floor. Can you go to plank pose with the block in there? If the answer is no, just ditch the block. And if you need to not do plank, you could do all fours without the block. Now, I'm going to put my knees down. You could do that too if you want. Can everybody broaden the collarbones? Lift the abdomen. Light squeeze in the block and try to lift the block a little bit towards the ceiling. Just a little bit. Yes. Carol, you look like $1,000,000 over there. All right, guys, let's go back to downward facing dog. Keep the block in, just relax for a second. I couldn't see everybody. I bet everybody looks really good though. All right, from your position here, slight bend in the knees. Press the mat down and forward with the hands. Let's give the block a light squeeze. If you squeeze too hard, the knees will start to knock in, which is not exactly what we want. Can you hug the ankles in enough so the weight's more even on your feet? And now very slowly try to lift the block as you go straighter in the legs. Adho Mukha Svanasana with the block. Yes. Can we do one more plank pose? Okay, let's do it. Come forward. If you need to take a different version, it's fine. Broaden the collarbones, lift the abdomen, lift the block. Yes! Jennifer, look at you over there. Magnificent. Let's go back, downward dog. You can reach back, take the block out, put it to the side. Let's take a little rest, come to child's pose. Oh, yeah. Nice job, guys. If you want to wiggle a little, you can. Just take a second to catch your breath. And then your choice here, you could stay in child's pose or you could come down to the belly. We'll do another round of the Sphinx arm position. Yeah? So either come to the belly or stay where you are, elbows on the floor, palms of the hands down. Let the chest drop for a sec, and then on the next inhale, try to pull the arms back, broaden the collarbones, lengthen to lift, and then on the exhale, lower back down. So take just a few more rounds of that, whichever version you're working with. See if you can make the work be in the upper back, not in the lower back. And if you are feeling it in the lower back, try walking the hands further forward and don't go up as high. That might help. Yeah. Great. And then from here, friends, let's pause. We'll head back into down dog. No block this time. Thank goodness, right? Take a second to get there if you need to wiggle around, do what you need to do. And now let's bring the feet closer to each other. They don't have to touch, but for some of you they will if that's comfortable for you. And then pick up the right leg, but not a lot, just a little bit, like a foot or two off the floor. And can you press the right heel back, but at the same time, pull the right half of the pelvis forward, kind of towards the right armpit. Yeah. On the right leg, the lifted leg, can you lift more through the inner thigh? And keep that as the leg starts going any amount higher without the leg rotating out and without the pelvis turning to the right. Yeah, right leg is straight. Good. And then come down, let's go straight into left side. So let it lift, but just a little bit. That's it. Press back through the heel, but pull a little forward through the left half of the pelvis. And then roll the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Keep that as the leg goes any amount higher without the leg turning out and without the pelvis turning to the side. Nice work. 2 feet on the floor. And then come to standing forward fold. Any way you want to get there. We'll bend the knees a little bit. Inhale, we rise, arms overhead. Let's circle out the wrists as we bring the arms down. Yeah. And then we'll give the legs a little bit of a break. Bless you. All right. So we did these sitting. Let's take the arms up. Inhale. On the exhale, bend the elbows and kind of squeeze them into the sides. Yeah. And then on the inhale, come back up. Let's add in a knee bend. So as we come down, bend the knees, shift the pelvis back and space. Couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale down, little squeeze. Yes, inhale up. And last one down, little squeeze. Good. And then inhale up. Let's just relax the arms down on the exhale. Nice job, friends. Head to the front of the mat. And we'll do some lunges here. And we'll put a knee down. If you need the padding, you can set that up. And let's have the blocks. I suggest blocks, but if you don't want them, you don't have to have them. Okay, so here we are. Let's stand in mountain pose. You decide if you want feet together. I'm going to keep some space. That's up to you. And then take a little bend in the knees, just barely, and pretend you have that block again. Can you roll it back? And then at the same time, lift up through the abdomen, send the buttocks flush down as the legs start to go straighter. Yeah, take the arms out and up. Inhale up here. And then on the exhale, down, come forward fold. You can bend the knees as you like. Come up halfway, chest moves forward. And now as we lower down, let's step the right leg back. Lunge, set the knee down. Yeah, on a blanket or not. You can have the toes tucked or straight, whatever you like. And then on the inhale, let's shift forward, create a nice lift through the chest. On the exhale, we'll shift back, go any amount straighter in the front leg. And take that a few times here. Feel free to adjust the blocks as you need. Now we do want movement going on in the spine and in the shoulder blades. If you're finding that's not happening, go higher in your hands. So we'll be more specific. When we come forward, the chest lifts, the shoulder blades draw down the back a little bit. And then when we come back, kind of like cat-cow, they move apart. Great. All right, so we're going to add on here. Let's take one more time forward. And then the next time we're in the hips back position, stay. And if you need to walk the blocks or the arms back a little bit, you can. Now notice how the pelvis loves to drift over to the right. Can you move it a little to the left and drop the left sitting bone without letting the pelvis slide to the right? Yeah. Now, in your position here, bend the front knee a little bit. Can you engage the quad? So try to draw the kneecap back. Keep that as you re-lengthen the leg again. Yeah. And then from here, one more time, shift the pelvis a little to the left. Can you spread wide through the toes? And like you're stepping on the gas with the ball of the big toe, do that. And try to pull back through the pinky. Oh yeah, how's it going over there, Priscilla? Nice job, guys. And then from here, we'll back off, set the sole of the foot either to the floor or towards the floor. So point the toes a little bit. And then from here, if you're able to, you can walk the arms to the left, maybe just a little bit, or maybe all the way outside of the left leg. More isn't better, it's just more. Now, as you're in this position, very delicately, can you bend at the ankle so the toes bow in slightly towards the right? Oh yeah. And then so the pelvis is likely shifted to the right, that's fine. Can you draw the pelvis back in space and draw the chest forward in space, away from the pelvis? Oh yeah. Now can you still breathe while you're in this position? Alvaro, how are you doing over there? Okay. He's breathing. At least you get a nice view of the trees over there, huh? Yeah. All right, friends, gently. Let's undo, come back to center. Oh yeah. Rebend the front knee. Tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee. And as you do, remember that block. Can you lift the inner thigh? Pull the right half of the pelvis forward and the left half of the pelvis back. Move the chest forward here. Yeah. All right. Let's go back straight to downward dog. Yeah, maybe not straight to down dog, but somehow to down dog. Good. Stay in your position. Little bend through the knees. Press the mat down and forward. Send the imaginary block back and up. And keep that as the legs start to lengthen. Oh gosh, Svanasana, nice job. On the next inhale, let's shift forward to plank pose. Any version, we're going to stay. Broaden out the collarbones. Lift the abdomen, lift the imaginary block. Yes, good. And then all the way down to the belly, we come any way to get there except belly flop. Don't belly flop, yeah. Now, in your position here, remember the Barbie doll foot? Let's do that again. So draw back through the legs and lift the legs. Yeah. Lift from the inner thighs, press back through the balls of the feet. Good. And then rest. Take the arms back so the arms are alongside you. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor so the upper back is engaged, and then lift the legs, lift the chest, lift the arms. So Shalabhasana, make your barbell foot, press back through the balls of the feet, draw forward through the collarbones. Yeah, and then lower yourself down. And let's do that a few more times. We'll use the inhale to lengthen and lift. Think more length over height, and the exhale to come back down. Just a couple more times like that, friends. Yes. It's funny. Even the child's pose version for me is getting harder. All right. When we're done, we're done. Let's reset. Hands come down. Downward dog just as a transition. You can be still. You can wiggle, whatever you need to do. Just give yourself a moment. Yeah. And then let's meet at the front of the mat and we'll stay low. We're not going to come up. Take a half lift. Inhale to move the chest forward. And then on the exhale, come down, bend the knees. Let's do a few of those. So inhale, we lengthen. And exhale, we come down. Now one more time, we lengthen. On the way down, left leg steps back, knee down. Hands alongside the front foot on any height of blocks or not. That's it. And then once we're here, let's do our back and forth. So the inhale is a forward and up. And then exhale, we shift back, straightening the front leg. Now as you're doing this, when you come forward, shoulder blades move towards each other and down the back. And then as we come back, they'll naturally widen apart. A couple more times. Yeah. I know, you're on the creaky spot, aren't you? Some of these floorboards are a little creaky. All right, everybody. Next time we shift into the back position with the front leg straight. Stay there. You can walk the arms back as necessary. Let the pelvis slide a little bit over to the right. And then can you drop the right sitting bone a little bit? Good. Stay in the position. Tiny bend in the right knee just for a sec. Try to engage the quad. Draw the kneecap back. And then keep that as you re-lengthen the leg. One more time, pelvis a little to the right and drop the sitting bone. Yeah, so let's spread out wide through the toes. Can you press on the gas with the ball of the big toe and pull back through the pinky toe? Oh, yeah. All right, friends. And then from here, let's back off. Actually don't back off. Walk the arms a little bit over to the right or a lot to the right. That's up to you. And then we'll bring the sole of the foot towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. Bend at the ankle so the toes bow in a little bit to the left, towards the midline of the mat. Yeah. And then move the chest forward in space and the pelvis back in space, away from each other. Oh, yeah. Good. You're feeling this one, Jennifer. I can tell by the look on your face. Some people, their smile and grimace look very similar. Yeah. All right, friends, let's undo. Gently, gently come back to center. Rebend the front knee. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. We'll stay here for a second. Lift up from the inner thigh. Pull the left hip forward and the right hip back. Lengthen the spine. Yes, yeah, the front knee's bent for this part. Good job. And then from here, let's go back to down dog. Few possibilities. Some of you will just want to stay in down dog. You can be still, you can move. Some of you will want to go dog, plank, dog, back and forth. Some of you will want to come to the belly, take a cobra or an up dog, like a full vinyasa here. Feel free to do that if you prefer the movement. All right. Nice. I love it when every person does a different thing. That's fantastic. Fantastic. When you're ready, back to downward facing dog. And we'll use that as a transition to come up. So standing forward fold. Any transition is fine. Root down through the feet. Use the inhale to lift up. Come the arms. Nice work. Down you come with the arms. Great job, yogis. Let's stand here and just be very lazy. Bend the knees a little bit. Just kind of, and then wiggle around. like you're moving through water. Yeah. All right. Now we'll make a little parachute harness. I'm going to show you. Hopefully, I have a black strap and a dark shirt, but hopefully you'll be okay. And at home, hopefully you have a long enough strap for this. So I'm going to have my back to you. You guys can build it as I build it. So you'll have this strap at the upper back, kind of at the bra line. And then you'll take it under the armpits and over the shoulder. And then see this section here? We want to lift that a little and the tails pull through. Yeah? And then we crisscross it so it makes the letter X. Now, if that was too much, yeah, you can enlist the help of your friends, or you can turn around and I'll tell you if it looks good.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks good. Both of you guys look good. Yes, Jennifer. Carol's got an assistant here. Alvaro, do you see the straps? They're hanging on the side. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna you guys stay if you haven't already, but I'm gonna show again the setup in case you need that. So it's back here, comes under the armpits over the shoulders. We lift the little flap, we pull the tails through, and then we crisscross. Yeah? Are we ready to jump out of the airplane?
Sure.
Correct posture. Yeah, it's a little pop. Yeah. So I'm hoping it feels kind of nice on the back. Alvaro, do you need a hand? So put it under. Sarah's gonna help you. She's an expert.
About that.
Yeah.
Is this long enough?
Yep, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So we're just gonna, while they're getting situated, just stand here for a second like a superhero. So the hands are here, collarbones are broad, and we're gonna stand. This is like a confidence building pose. Have you guys heard about that? It's real. Like if you do this before a job interview, you're more likely to get the job. It's for real. Yeah.
And just get it comfortable for you.
Got it?
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. So let's back off of our superhero posture. You can wiggle a little if it's kind of tight. Keep the hands here, and let's step the right leg back with the heel down, kind of the beginning is a warrior one pose. Now, before we go into it, can you press the back heel down? Remember that imaginary block. Roll the inner thigh back, and then stand up tall. Start to bend the front knee. And now take the knuckles away from the side body a little bit and gently pull down. Yeah. And then put the knuckles back wherever they land, probably a little bit lower. Gorgeous. So the front knee is bent. It's warrior one-ish. Yeah. Now as you're in position here, sometimes, especially with this setup, there's a tendency to kind of overdo the back bend aspect. Instead, think of moving the rib cage and the pelvis away from each other. Yeah, great. And now from here, hinge forward, turn the back heel up, step the back foot forward like a foot or so, and now see if you can keep the upper body the same. Lift the right leg from the inner thigh, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. Yes. Great, it's kind of warrior three, yeah? And then we'll stand upright, 2 feet side by side. Wiggle a little so the strap isn't so tight. You guys look good. Does it? I hope it kind of feels good on the back.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, great. Let's do the other side. So step the left leg back, heel to the floor. Press the heel down. Send the inner thigh back like you had the block. That's it. And then from here, let's go ahead, bend the front knee. And then take the knuckles away from the body, pull down a little bit, and then put the knuckles back on the sides. Yes. Now stay in your position here. Think about the rib cage and the pelvis moving in opposition to each other. Yeah. Great. We'll just stay for a little bit. Superhero Virabhadrasana 1. Yeah. All right. Now we hinge forward, step the back foot in a little bit, not all the way. And then from the inner thigh, can you lift the leg? Doesn't have to go high, but it could go high if you wanted to. Yeah, try not to let the pelvis turn left. And if you want to make the Barbie doll foot here, that might be interesting. Yeah, great. And then we come upright. And that's that. Yeah. Let the arms go. Just wiggle yourself. Yeah, you stir the wrists around a little bit. We took all that trouble to put it on, but I think that's it. So let's take it off. Sometimes I'll do a partner down dog thing, but just with COVID, I'm not going to have us do that today. Put this strap aside. Yeah. All right, friends. So last round we did lunge with the knee down. Let's do lunge this time with the back knee lifted. A lot of the same alignment cues will apply. So be at the front of the mat here. Let's take arms up, inhale. On the exhale, we'll take this elbow position again, squeeze, bend the hips, bend the knees, and then take a few times. Inhale up, and exhale down, little squeeze. Great. One more time up, one more time down. Reset hands to shins, halfway lift, chest moves forward. And now we lower down, step the right leg back, keep the knee off the floor, and we're in our lunge pose here. Blocks any height or no blocks. Now, we kind of talked about this a little. On the back leg, lift up through the inner thigh. Pull the right hip a little forward, the left hip a little back. Move the rib cage forward and the pelvis back. Yeah? Stay there. Press a little more into the left heel and lighten up the hands. Some of you will stay down. Some of you will take arms back. And then some of you will take arms forward. But don't do that if it starts to round the back. Yeah. Jennifer, you can lower the chest a little so you're more diagonal. Exactly. Good. And then from here, friends, let's lower the hands back down. Step the back foot forward enough that the heel can come down. And then from here, with a small bend in the front knee, try to move the chest forward and keep the chest forward as you push the left heel. It's not going to go anywhere, but push it forward in space to go straighter in the left leg. Yeah, let's inhale. And then on the exhale, either just back off or let yourself fold a little deeper over the leg. Every time we inhale, create a little lengthening in the spine. And then every time we exhale, either fold down more or just back off a little bit. Take that a couple more times, couple more breaths. Yep. Right. And then when you're in a position that you feel like you can stay in for a little bit, pause there. And just a tiny, tiny little bit, let the pelvis go back and forth, right, left. Yeah, good. And then to get out of this, let's pause. Re-bend the front knee, re-lengthen the spine. Scooch the right foot back again so we're in our lunge, the heel is up. And then let's take again your choice, either downward dog, you could do plank, you could go back and forth, you could do vinyasa. You do you. Yeah. Nice. Up dog, Priscilla. That's gorgeous. All right. Good looking down dog you got there, Jocelyn. So when you're ready, friends, if you're still moving, don't let me rush you. Let's head to the front of the mat, feet forward, and we'll come up to stand. Inhale to rise. I can't bring my feet forward that easily. And down come the arms. It's like every day it's a new thing. Okay, so we'll do the same pattern on side two. From the front of the mat, feet are a little bit apart. Let's inhale, arms up. Exhale, the elbows squeeze in, the knees bend, the hips shift back. Do that a few more times. Inhaling up. Nice job. Create a little resistance on the way down. Last time up. Last time down. Reset. Come into your half lift. Chest moves forward. Shoulder blades down the back. Lower it down. We'll step the left leg back, starting in our lunge. Knee off the floor. Any height of blocks or no blocks. And now on the back leg, can you lift the inner thigh? Imaginary block. Pull the left hip a little forward, the right hip a little back. Move the chest forward, away from the pelvis. Yes. Now, first just lighten up the hands. And if it's a good idea, you can take the arms back. And if you've done that, lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. Remember that parachute harness. Yeah, if you want to take the arms forward, you can. If that's not wise, don't do it. Yes. Good job. Good job. Down come the hands. Let's step the back foot in enough that the heel can land. And then starting with the front knee a little bit bent, can you draw back through the right hip forward through the chest? And as we go straighter in the leg, don't move the foot, but try to push the heel forward as we lengthen. Yeah. Inhale, move the chest forward again. And then on the exhale, either back off or fold a little deeper. Take a couple more breaths just like that. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Yeah. That's it. And then once you're in a position that you'd like to stay in for a moment, just take the tiniest little tail wag. Again, little right, left, back and forth. Yes. Well done. And then let's pause. Rebend the front knee. Lift the back heel, scooch the left leg back a little bit. And then again, yogi's choice, down dog, dog plank. You could do plank the whole time if you wanted to. Yeah, vinyasa if you wanted to. Yes. Good choices all around the room. And then let's everybody take a little break here. Come down into child's pose. Yeah. You know what we haven't done yet is a quad stretch. So let's just do a simple one here from the belly. Take your time to come down. And then let's do our legs scooch back. And then we'll bend the right knee. Hold on to the foot. Yeah. Now take a second to settle into the position. And for some of us, especially if the quads are tight, the knee wants to go out to the side. See if, remember that imaginary block? You can roll the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And then counter that action by lifting a little through the belly. And without squeezing around the tailbone, just send the buttocks flush down towards the back of the mat. Yeah. If you want to make the Barbie doll foot here too, you could. And then maybe press the top of the foot into the hand. And then let's release. Side two. Now take a second just to get there. And then see if you can roll the inner thigh more towards the ceiling, like you have the block. Counter that by lifting up a little through the low belly and sending the buttocks flush down without squeezing the tailbone. Yeah, maybe the Barbie foot, maybe the foot presses into the hands a little bit. Great. And then let's release that. Stay on the belly. Just wiggle the pelvis a little bit from side to side. Yeah. Nice job, guys. And then we'll press back, take just a quickie child's pose again. Let your back stretch out the other direction. Okay, you guys. Now for our grand finale, Hanumanasana. And everyone's like, yay!
No. I'm not saying yay yet.
So let me show you how we'll set up. If you guys look like you have plenty of room. I don't, so I'm going to just fold my mat up a little bit. And if you need padding for the knees, you'll put one blanket at the front of the mat, and then for everybody, we'll put another blanket ahead on the wood floor. Yeah, so it slides. And then we'll take your two blocks in between the gap between your mat and the blanket. And don't be shy. If you need more blankets, we've got plenty.
I'm going to blanket on top of you.
If you want it. If you want it. Yeah. if your knees are bony or sensitive, then do have that. And then I think, Jennifer, just turn to face me and put this blanket on this side. Yeah, because I don't want you to hit the wall. You can yeah, unless you need it for knees. You're good? Okay. So from your position here, yogis, let's take the right leg forward so it's on the blanket. Yeah. All right. And then we'll glide the blanket forward, but not to max capacity, just a little bit until your hamstrings say, hey, something's going on. Something's going on. And then back off a little bit. Think about on the back leg, the block. Roll the inner thigh back. And then on the front leg, think of plugging the ball into the socket in the hip joint so we kind of almost come out a little bit. Yeah. Are you breathing? No. You better do it. Nice. Now you can stay right here, or maybe you've got another round. As you move, you'll back off of some of this effort. So let the legs slide again, maybe. And then once you're in position again, we'll find that hug in. So the inner thigh rolls back. We plug the ball into the socket. Yeah, we breathe. If you've got one more time, maybe you go again, maybe you say, no, that's enough. And every time you stop, you hug in. Yeah, and breathe. Oh, poor Alvaro, he's got tight hamstrings. Are you okay, my friend? Yeah, good job. All right, friends, let's use your core. Use your arms to glide it back in. Oh, yeah, 2 knees down, and maybe you take a little side to side wiggle here. Yeah. Sometimes the hands get tired of being on the blocks. You can make a few wrist circles. Need that? Nice job, you guys. I didn't see you had it over here. Oh, it went perfectly. Yeah. All right, can we do the other leg? Sure. Yeah, I think we should. All right. So remember, we're not trying to get all the way down. It's baby steps. Let's take the left leg forward. And then just go until you feel some sensation, yeah? And we'll practice our actions. On the back leg, roll the inner thigh back. On the front leg, plug it in. We breathe. Yeah. Good. Good. Now, if it's a good idea, you'll back off of the effort, let yourself slide again, and then we re-find the effort. On the back leg, inner thigh rolls back, front leg plugs in, we breathe. Yeah. I didn't mention this before, I'll say it now. If you're finding the knee is hyperextending or there's discomfort behind the knee, you'll back off, you'll bend the knee, kind of like we did in that lunge pose, and then pull up on the quad as you re-lengthen. Yeah, and that might help. Good. So let's go into your final state of the pose, wherever that is. Inner thigh rolls back, plug the ball in, and breathe. Yes. This side's a little better, isn't it? Yeah. All right. And then from here, friends, use your core, use your arms, back we come. Keep your setup. Let's bring the knees down, take a little wiggle. If you need to move the hands around a little bit, you can. Yeah, we're gonna go one more time, but this time we won't do the start and stop. We'll just go into wherever is a good place for you. You ready? It'll be easier the second time, I promise. All right, here we go. Right leg forward. And then just go into whatever place is working for you. And then hug in and breathe. See, it's easier, isn't it? No, nobody thinks so. Sure. Okay. And when we're done, we come back. Yeah, our last side, last side. And just come into whatever place is working for you. And then we plug in. And we breathe. We remember this pose is named after Hanuman, and he was a shapeshifter, and he jumped between India and Sri Lanka, one leg in each place, in order to rescue the princess, sort of. All right, let's come out. Oh yeah, 2 knees down. Little wiggle if you need. Yeah, circle your hands if you need. Oh, you guys, we did it. That was it for Hanuman for tonight. Yeah, let's take a down dog, or if hands are tired, if you want to take a dog, like elbow dog, you could, just to do something symmetrical. I promised I'd turn the lights off at the end, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll rest in fish pose next. Oh, it got really dark, but I think Mary can still see me. Yeah, it got really dark. Guys, when you've had enough, down you come, down you come. And then let's set up the blocks here. So you can take any setup if you're familiar with the pose, your favorite version. My favorite version is just the mild one. So one block low going across for under the shoulder blades, and then the other block any height for the head. And as you come down, you'll set. If you're doing a cross block, the horizontal, it'll go under the shoulder blades. If you're doing the vertical block, depending on the setup, it'll most likely go in between the shoulder blades. The other one's for the head. Legs can do whatever, bend your straight legs. And we'll just be here for a little bit and rest. And I'm gonna sit up, but I'll tell you what to do. Yeah. Now, if anybody's not sure about your block setup, or if it doesn't feel good, put a hand up in the air and I'll come mess with you. Carol, can you move that block down lower, closer to your hips? Yeah. And we'll see if that feels better or worse. Is it? Yes. It's good? Okay. Yeah. And then, Jennifer, does it feel good or is it poking you a little bit in the... I was going to think actually up, make it go higher. Is that better or worse? Better. Okay, good. Yeah. Albert, you look good over here. Yeah. So just relax. Yeah. We've done a lot of mental work too. See if you can relax the brain, relax the neck, the chest. And then some of you might enjoy just being still. If that's you, stay as you are. Some of you might enjoy just any sort of random arm movements, maybe I call it sea monster asana, just kind of waving the arms around. And if you know any other arm patterns here that you would enjoy, feel free to do that instead. When you're ready to come off the blocks, just very gently, options you could either roll to one side or you could press up through the center and move the blocks and come back down. And then take a moment to land, and I'll offer one more position that you might want to do in Shavasana here. So which way am I going to face this way? If you'd like to try it, you'll take the blocks and kind of hold them on the diagonal. You'll lift the pelvis and put them in so they're kind of on the side of the outer hips. And it creates a little wedge. The back of the pelvis is very close to the floor. Like I'm almost touching the floor, and it's just to support a little bit the outer hips. Yeah. You can have the legs bent or straight in position. And I'm gonna, Sarah, you want me to sit up?
Yeah.
If this one's hard to fit, lift the hips for a sec. And then come down. Is that good?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then get your knees. Lift and down. There it is. And then some people can go straight in the legs. For me, that makes it fall apart. But some people do. Bend your knees again. Lift. And then down. Yeah. Oh, let me get you. Take the block out for a sec. And then lift. And then down. Good? Oh, good. You guys like this one. Yeah, you guys look like you got it. So for any reason, if you don't enjoy the position, by all means, take it apart. Everybody, see if you can relax the face, chest, the belly, the whole front of the body. Begin to deepen your breath. In a moment, you'll come out of Shavasana. You want to take a little movement first, that might feel good. And for those of you who are on the blocks, just whenever you're ready to pull them out, come back down. And very gently, we'll roll to one side. And press ourselves upright, coming to sit. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.